Hello, I'm Justin Perkins. This is Talk Junkie. Pick up my books. They're available on Amazon.com, but if you're a real human being, a good person, you'll order them from the Red Spotted Newt in Hazard, Kentucky, possibly the greatest bookstore in the world. You can find them on Facebook. They will ship to you. All of my books are available there. If they're not, if she happens to be sold out, I'll get her more. But order from there if possible. If not, they are available on Amazon Prime with free shipping. But I don't know what kind of monster would use Amazon over a local business. Hopefully you're not that kind of monster. Hopefully you are the type of person that supports a local author. That's all the ads we got for today. Minus whatever Spreaker stuck at the beginning of this podcast. I'm a couple episodes back. I've got a couple recorded. These get released at different times, different places, different people, different things. I don't know. But today we're going to talk about your footprint and what kind of footprint you leave. All you climate deniers, calm down. Don't worry. This isn't a preachy, hippie podcast. I already did one of those. It's because you're not a real outdoorsman. You can go back and listen to that if you want to. This is about a different kind of footprint. And it's going to touch on a topic that we address a lot on this podcast, social media. I've tried various different things with social media, completely and totally leaving, completely and totally immersing myself in it, deleting it, reinstalling it, blah, 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 blah. But if you've not seen The Social Dilemma, one, thank you, Mug, for suggesting it. Two, I suggest you watch it. Not just once, watch it twice. Maybe watch, The Great Hack or whatever that one is too. But there's a lot of these. There's a lot of good YouTube videos and stuff you can watch. Yes, I understand YouTube is to some degree a social media thing. But what kind of footprint do you leave? Digital footprint. I've been thinking about that a lot. If you're familiar at all with Julian Assange, WikiLeaks, and Snowden, then chances are you're very familiar with a wonderful thing called the Patriot Act. The Patriot Act was given to us by Dick Cheney's minion, George W. Bush, defended tooth and nail by Barack Hussein Obama and Nancy Pelosi. And every Republican and most Democrats in office since that time. It's a wonderful little thing, and it's something that Brazil, Germany, a lot of countries have addressed and actually had court cases over. Snowden is having to live in Russia as an exile, treated as a criminal. He has no... I'm not going to explain to you what the Patriot Act is, how exactly it works. It basically, put all the terminology aside. First of all, do your own research. Look it up. That's the best way. If somebody else tells you how something is, look it up, including me. It gives the NSA a free rein to look at anything you do, regardless of what it is. I was told once that's an inaccurate description. I asked for proof to the contrary, could not get any. It's set a very uncomfortable precedent, and it is something that's still very much alive and real in a lot of ways. It's Pandora's box. It's the genie in the bottle. Once you let it out, it's not going back. Once they gave operational control back to the CIA, it's never going back. And in the same way with the Patriot Act. But the Patriot Act, I'm not going to blow anything up. I'm not going to assassinate anybody. I'm not going to do anything to that level. So, they'll never have any interest in me. Unless maybe if I ever ran for office, but I'm not crooked enough, connected enough, or educated enough to do that, so I don't think we have to worry about that. And if I do, I've made enough statements on podcasts and enough statements on social media to warrant my immediate exile from any political party the moment I tried to make any attempt at running for anything. So, having said that, I don't have a whole lot to fear myself, but it's something to make you think. If you're a spy or you're doing something wrong, I probably wouldn't listen to this podcast. It's not going to help you much. You know what you need to do already. And if this is not to fearmonger or to get people all worked up or excited, or because, like I said, it doesn't affect you for the most part on any legal way. 99% of us are never going to do anything that they'll have any interest in or they'll ever monitor. But it made me think. It made me think about this footprint I leave. Who does see that footprint? Well, my friends and my family see that footprint. But also, companies see that footprint. Advertisers see that footprint. Political parties see that footprint. And not by any real nefarious means. It's the acceptance agreement that we've all signed into over and over and over again. It's the same old thing. I thought about getting car insurance at 1:30 in the morning when I woke up to go to the bathroom. And the next day, Amazon and Facebook and Gmail were all giving me ads and this and this and this and this. Alexa's listening to you. Siri's listening to you. I've heard all these things. Maybe they're true, maybe they're not true. But the issue isn't if they're true. The issue is you're putting yourself in the position to be accessed. And you're doing so for no real reason. Social media as it stands, the negatives are far outweighed the positives. It's used to control people. It's definitely used to profit, and it's definitely biased, severely biased. And even if it's biased to a side that you happen to agree with in whatever the particular area is, it's still biased, and bias is not a good thing. It's large enough of a platform that it should be protected by free speech, but it's not. But that's not the real issue. And I was speaking to someone via our email chats about this footprint and what it really entails. Where you go, who you interact with, what you buy, what you believe personally, what you search. All these things are personal information. Now, there's ways that this could negatively affect you. I mean, it could negatively affect your child. If your child's too connected, it could possibly make them be monitored. I've looked at a lot of statistics. I know human trafficking is huge. I know sex trafficking is huge right now. It is a real and dangerous thing, and it is scary. But kidnappings and disappearances, things of that nature, statistically, from what I see, are down tremendously. I don't tell the QAnon people because, when you get in a bubble, you only believe what's in the bubble. So you gotta, but it doesn't appear that the Democrats are stealing any more kids than they used to steal. Actually, it appears that if that's who is stealing the children, they're stealing less. And these pizza places are going to have to step up their game if they want to get to the numbers of kidnapped people we've had in the past. But now, again, it would surprise you how hard those numbers are to nail down conclusively and how those numbers vary over different reporting agencies. But as an experiment, I thought, let me see how far my footprint goes, and let me see how much of my information's out there, and then let me see what my options to dial it back are, and then let me see if I can find a happy medium. So, I went back on Facebook. I didn't record a lot of this down as far as keeping up with anything because I wasn't planning on doing the podcast anymore, to be completely honest with you. But I went back on Facebook. I went back on Instagram. I posted quite a bit, especially memories It's because they were easy posts to go in, share the memory, whatever. I downloaded Facebook back onto my phone. I downloaded Instagram back onto my phone. I turned my notifications for Messenger back on. Now, I made sure every time I got on YouTube, it was on the YouTube app, and that I was logged in to this show's YouTube, which is Author J. Perkins, I believe, on YouTube. That's probably going to change fairly soon. I'm going to change the name of that YouTube page. But for now, that's what it is. And if you don't listen to this on Spreaker, or if you want to listen to this on YouTube, you can listen to this on YouTube. Every episode is on YouTube, with the exception of one. There's one episode that is on iTunes and Spreaker and Google Play and all that stuff that's not on YouTube, and it's one of my favorites. It's an interview I done with my son about animation and things of that nature. I really loved that episode, and it's not available on YouTube though because of the way I recorded it. It didn't go directly to YouTube. Now, on the other hand, there's one episode, The Great Migration, or my second favorite I ever did, that is available on YouTube but is not available on iTunes. It was, again, a recording error and they deleted whatever, but it is available on YouTube. It's just no longer available on iTunes. So go check that one out. It's a really good episode. But for a pretty good amount of time I did this. I also made sure to comment on certain people's posts. I made sure to go to certain pages and like them. I made sure to respond. If you go to ads on Facebook and click the little thing on the right, it'll, unfollow, or was this misleading, or I reported some things. I also liked some things. Okay? I went on Google, searched for particular things, wrote these searches down. I did the same thing with Amazon. I went on Amazon, looked for certain topics, and certain products, and wrote these things down. I went to YouTube and consistently every day looked for the same type of video. Every day, same search. I did not do it under this show's YouTube. I have numerous Gmail accounts, so I have numerous YouTube accounts. But on my account, the account for this show, what is mostly my personal account, I searched for something different every day and wrote some of those search queries down. On one for Author J. Perkins, Co-Kingdom, I believe it was. I'd have to go back and look. I've got multiple. I searched for one particular thing every day. Miniature ponies. Something my dad's breeding miniature ponies, something he's been into, and we had them when I was younger. I looked at a lot of miniature ponies and a lot of horse videos. Now, in my Gmail, on both accounts, the account that is tied with this YouTube page and the account that's tied with the other YouTube page, I started looking at my social media emails, that you get from Facebook, things like that. But I started looking at the promotional emails. Things that companies send you to supposedly, I guess guess at, or things of that nature. Some of which you sign up for. I did this for a month, and not with any scientific inclination, and not with any real determination, just as it came and as I could. I did this, and once it was over, I sat down and I kind of got a gauge of my results. My Facebook is tied to a different email than the YouTube page for this show. But the email, which is my primary email, I'm not going to give that out, but my primary email is tied to my Amazon account, my Google account, my Facebook account. On the other hand, my Instagram account is tied to a separate email, and I have various YouTubes tied. The one email account that is tied to my Facebook and Amazon, based on things I liked, things I reported, things I searched in Google, and things I looked for on Amazon, I could almost predict on Monday my activity on Amazon, Google, and Facebook on Monday at 7 a.m. Made it possible for me to predict to some degree of certainty what my email activity would be Monday evening. By Tuesday, my ability to predict my email content was much, much higher. I knew what my promotional and junk email was going to be based on Amazon and Google searches. Now with Facebook, excuse me, I had to get a drink. On Facebook, I was able to completely change what my advertising scheme looked like on Facebook. It took probably a week and a half to really start to see it. In 2 weeks, it was abundantly clear that I had been able to manipulate political ads, product ads, almost everything based on likes. Now, I started another Facebook a long time ago, and I hadn't logged into it in quite a while. So I decided to log into it, add roughly the same people that were on the other one, but some new people, and like different things. My feed on those two Facebooks were daylight and dark. Similar friends, very similar friends. A lot fewer friends on the second Facebook. Should have been much easier to see the same stuff from the friends I had on the first Facebook. But what I liked and followed on that second Facebook was completely in contrast to what 90% of the friends on the first Facebook, how they associated, what they liked. I even went in and looked at things and said, okay, so-and-so liked this page. I mean, I seen two different worlds. The closer it got to the election, the more abundant that became. Now, one of these Facebook profiles, I skewed as far right as I could go. I was so far right on that particular page that, I mean, I could almost see the left. And vice versa. On the other page, I skewed so far left that there's no mistaking where my political leanings are. This showed me two things prior to the election. One, it showed me that there's two different worlds on social media. Both highly propaganda. I mean, pure propaganda. Both highly inaccurate. And both very, very misleading. I expected that wholeheartedly. As the election got really close, something new started appearing. One profile was skewed very, very hard and had a lot of false information on it. But I had access to the false information. I could even go find where it was false. And it was a left-leaning profile. I could even find where a lot of it was false with Snopes, a very left-leaning organization. Post and report. But the misleading information was there. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. My belief, if you held a gun to my head, was 100% at that point that when I went to the right-leaning profile and done the same exact thing, I'd have the same exact result. I did not. There was one instance where I had 5 posts in a row marked fake or have some type of disclaimer with it. Now, granted, all 5 of those were false statements. One of them was a doozy. Complete and total lies. And rightfully marked as so. When I go back to the left-leaning, didn't have that. I looked into some donations and things of that nature, and I mean, some large tech companies were supporting Democrats up and down the board, and I can see where, you know, one thing leads to the other. But that's a different topic for a different day. The point is, I lived in 2 different Americas, 2 different outcomes for the election, 2 different sides of every single topic, in extreme difference, not moderate difference, not middle difference, extreme differences. Something happened. This is 2 weeks into this process, 3 weeks into this process, going 4 weeks into this process. It started out with a lot of Google searches, and remembering, you have to go in, you got to remember, okay, got to go up here, and I got to log my Gmail, change my Gmail over to whichever Gmail I'm in, then just search random things, but I have to search under the right email. By Wednesday after the election, my emails and my YouTubes, because every time you have a Gmail account, that is synced with a YouTube account. You can go in under your Gmail address and sign into the YouTube account. They're linked together. Every single time I would access that YouTube, it was manipulated to a slight degree, nothing huge, but to a slight degree based on what I searched or Facebook. I don't know the connection, and that's something that to this moment didn't dawn on me. The connection, or if the connection between YouTube and Facebook exists, or the algorithm is, how it works, the buying data off of I don't know. But the Google, I do understand the connection. And it bled over. So this footprint that, to be completely honest with you, prior to this situation, me, a non-terrorist, non-political activist, I have nothing to cause any interest from the NSA or anybody of that nature. And that's who everybody's worried about watching. And I thought, so what? So what if they do watch? What does it matter? I went from that to realizing that they're not watching. They're not watching me. They may be collecting the data. It may be in a bin somewhere, and it's not constitutional, and it's wrong, and we should do something about it. But they're not who's watching. Google's watching. Amazon's watching. Facebook's watching. YouTube's watching. YouTube seemed to be the least sleazy. I can manipulate my YouTube any way I want to watch it. If I want pure conspiracy theory, I can get pure conspiracy theory. If I want pure Biden, I can get pure Biden. If I want pure Trump, I can get pure Trump. Can't get Alex Jones. I don't know if that's a bad thing. I do know that's a bad thing because I believe in freedom of speech. Even though he is a psychotic lunatic, he is right about some things, and it's, there's certain things you can't get on YouTube. The issue with the whole COVID situation on YouTube is pathetic. It's horribly handled, but besides that, there are other issues. But YouTube is the least sleazy of all of them. Like I said, I could easily manipulate that. I could easily manipulate Facebook. But even trying to manipulate Facebook, still occasionally, on the farthest leaning right, I got a lot of left influence. On the farthest leaning left, I got a lot of left influence. It's the people who own the company. Okay. Are they affecting what people see and people's opinions? Yes. Those people are weak-minded and they're idiots and they shouldn't be on social media. That's a fact as well. With Google, when you get into the Google search in the Amazon, it wasn't a political thing, especially with Amazon. But they were very much watching. So at the end of all of this, I realized, okay, Amazon is watching, and somebody is collecting all of our data. And whether it be the NSA, they're not the ones getting the most of it, and they're not the ones using the most of it. Social media, Google, Amazon, these people are getting the most. And they're using it. They're using it excessively. So on Wednesday, I decided, let's lessen the footprint. Okay? This is harder. I'll tell you why it's harder as I go along. First thing first, I go back and delete all the apps off my phone. I delete Google Chrome. I delete the Safari app. I delete Facebook. I delete Instagram. I delete all these things back off my phone. I reinstall Pronto, an encrypted secure email. That's what I use if I'm sending financial documents or something like that. Bank statements, Social Security card. Use Pronto, encrypt it. Give them a password. They can open it on the other side. DuckDuckGo is my browser. And the big thing is going in and signing out of everything, including Gmail accounts, sign out of everything. Don't have the Gmail app on your phone when you're trying this. Okay. I'm not going to stop using Gmail. It is helpful. It's great. Same thing with YouTube. But I can view YouTube as a guest. I don't have to log into YouTube. That can be tricky. Depending on what device you're on and what you have to do, you have to make sure you're signed out of certain accounts. You got to make sure it's a process, but it can be done. Now, at this point, it's only Sunday. From Wednesday to Sunday, very, very little activity on my Gmail accounts. Log in to use them, log out when I'm done. No Google searches whatsoever. Clear history on everything you can clear history on. Not using Safari. All locations turned off. All notifications turned off. Don't let any app track you. Don't let anything happen. First of all, I'm not looking at Instagram and Facebook. I think I can access them. I did not delete the accounts, but in order to access them, somebody double check this. If I'm not mistaken, you cannot access them from DuckDuckGo. You have to sign into Google, Safari, or something like that to access Facebook. Unless somebody's found a way around that, that was something that Facebook had in place to make sure, nobody was looking at your profile. I don't believe that that's true, but I can get on a computer, sit down, something separate from my phone, separate from the device that stays with me at all times. I sit down, manually log into Facebook. You can do that. Get rid of a lot of liked pages, get rid of a lot of things, and get rid of the second. But in a week's time, Gmail is still trying to send me, it's still trying to bait me in with these things. I don't know that that'll ever go away. If I go back and look at those YouTubes, even though you clear search history, you do this, they're still trying to feed me these things. If I go in as if I go in as a guest, I'm seeing just popular videos, high-rated videos. They're kind of all over the place. Again, YouTube seems to be the least sleazy of these things. But my digital footprint for a month was huge. I was giving data all over the place. At every opportunity, someone was getting the ability to see what I was doing, what I was thinking, what I was following, all those things. To this point now, I have no footprint whatsoever. That's a false statement. I have a lessened footprint, I have a curated footprint, and I have a footprint that I allow. I still use my Gmail. So that's going to have a footprint. I still get on the YouTube page. Sometimes when I get on, look, that's not going to last going down the road. Going down the road, I will be right back to the YouTube that's used for this show, because I'm always logged into it, and that's what I'm going to use going down the road. But my footprint is lessened. Now, what does that do? Well, conspiracy theory-wise, it makes it harder on the NSA, makes it harder on these dirty corporations on Facebook and all these blah, 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 blah. In a sensible point of view, it allows me less opportunity to be skewed. Because no matter how informed you think you are, and no matter how thoughtful you think you are, and no matter how cautious you think you are, you can be skewed. You are going to have natural leanings, natural beliefs, natural desires for things to be true. And people can skew those and drive you towards those, even if they're inaccurate, if given the opportunity. So that's a big thing. One, when people tell you that getting off social media does away with stress, and they're 100% correct. Makes you like your fellow man better. There's a lot of things. I understand we've got to a point socially where people don't understand interaction. It's not everyone. I live in a very rural area. People are very spread out, and everybody's got coronavirus and this and this. Look, it's hard to meet people in person. My wife's a very intelligent woman. I can have conversations with her. And if that's my options, is to wait for interactions in person with people via this podcast or out in public, then that's what I'm going to do. Social media is not worth the price we pay for it. That has to be a personal decision, and that has to be something that you are comfortable in believing, promoting, and doing. And nobody can do those things for you. That's completely and totally up to you. I don't. I'm not here to preach at that and try to get you to do that. It is what it is. You feel that way or you don't feel that way. I don't know. It's how I feel. But a lot of times we let too many people have too much information. And if and only if you're worried about that and you're worried about being skewed, but if you really want to think, because we're in a different age than we were ever in. We're in an age to where everything we think, say, and share, we don't know how long that's going to be accessible, how long that's going to be available. Our minds will change, our opinions will change. Hopefully, if we do what we're supposed to do as evolving humans, as we grow older, we will become different, better people. In the past, the average person doesn't make public speeches. It's not on television, not creating art, or just not putting a record out there. Had the ability to change, and not really have a whole lot of their past be thrown up to them. Now, I'm not saying never be ashamed of your past. There's things I've done that I'm not proud of, but they are my past and they are who and what I am. But a lot of young people make very irrational, poor decisions, myself 100% included. May have been the king of that at one point in time. If that had been documented, I would have a problem with a lot of that being out there. So I put value on that footprint. I put value on the ability to share what I want to share and the ability to keep in what I want to keep in. Also, I like the ability to be able to look at something and decide for myself via research and actual interaction how I feel about something, or what I want to feel, or what I want to purchase, or what I want to be in my life. I like to have some control over it. The steps I've taken to do that, I'll lay out for you one more time and give you a little bit of explanation. We know why I deleted social media. It is what it is. When I go to YouTube, if I'm going just to peruse and look and see what's out there, I have two options. I go in under an account that is mine, that is personalized, that is tailored to me, that's only going to show me familiar things. It's going to show me nothing new. Or I go in as a guest and look for what's new, for what's out there. Get to kind of take the temperature of that community and see what's popular and out there and so on. On the other hand, if I do go in under my account, I like to go in with a specific purpose. What am I going to look at a video for? I don't ever want to go and just scan through YouTube, because what that does is that becomes the replacement for Facebook. That's the new Facebook. Now, instead of perusing Facebook, you're perusing YouTube. That's not a good thing. It's different side of the same coin. You're waiting to be manipulated. Now, even if you're the person manipulating yourself based on the search criteria that you use or the interests that you have, you're still being skewed, even if it's by yourself. So that's a change in process of how I look at YouTube. I don't have to be paranoid about it. I don't have to be a conspiracy theorist about it. I don't have to be anal retentive about it. I just think of that before doing it. Just like with social media. I used to need everyone to be off social media. I don't need that now. I just need me to be off. And not permanently. I like to get on and look occasionally. I like to connect with people. It just has to be a process to get to it. Can't be one touch in that app and be there. I can't be a junkie just constantly pushing the morphine button. I gotta have a little bit of a process. Makes it easier to control myself, and everybody may not have that issue. I believe the vast majority of people do, but not everybody. I'm going to use my Google accounts for what they need to be used for. If you want to get a hold of the show, you can get a hold of the show at talkjunkie@gmail.com. And I'll check that Gmail, and we'll have discussions. That's how that works. Turn off all notifications. Don't want to be notified of everything happening all the time. Don't want to be anxious at all. Don't want to look at my phone first thing when I get up. Don't want to see the blue light from my phone up to an hour or so before I go to bed. That one's hard because I get a lot of work stuff and stuff like that. That one's hard, but I could do it if I want to be strict about it. Encrypted email. A couple reasons for this. One, I don't get spam mail for the most part. And it depends on what you use, and if you pay for it, use the free, but for the most part you don't. But the big thing is, it's not monitoring who I email. I don't know. It's just a peace of mind thing. One, you don't want identity theft. That's huge. And I've done this in the past. I have used my personal email in the past to send important information. don't do that. It don't even have to be encrypted. On its own, Pronto's easier as far as protecting, but encrypted, I mean, they literally have to have a password to access your email. And it's a disposable one-time password. You can make it the same every time for certain people, whatever. But it's a good idea to have. It doesn't have to be your primary. It can be your primary. It doesn't have to be, but no harm's coming from it. Turn off your location on your phone. Certain apps, I believe Instagram, and don't hold me to that. Maybe what's the one that they're wanting to ban? TikTok. I don't know if it does. I don't know anything about it, so I can't speak intelligently on that one. But a lot of these things have location devices, or they'll check you in. Don't let Facebook check you in when you're somewhere and tell where you're posting from. Don't get your house robbed. Post vacation pictures after you get back from vacation, if you have to post them. And to be honest with you, I kind of like seeing them every once in a while when I get on. So post away. Do it after. Use email when you can. Take the time to type something, put it in a draft, read it again later, look at it, consider what you said before you send it. Messenger and commenting on posts are two horrible ways to communicate, because it's easy to say something you really wish you didn't say, or something you really didn't feel because you were angry or upset. So, I don't know. It's your footprint. I'm not telling you have to do those things. I'm telling you that's the way I feel about it. Your carbon footprint, and then on the other hand, you got to do something about that. If not, you're just a crap person. And you don't have to be a hippie, tree hugger, whatever you want to call people who actually take the time to care about their surroundings. Just call them good people, and do it. You know, I know miners that are very big on conservation. You know, that's a different topic for a different day. But this footprint is 100% controllable by you. Take some self-control and some intelligence. And a desire to do it. You're not dumb if you don't desire to do it. I mean, I don't know. Determine if it's hurting you. I don't know. It's what I do. Don't suck, don't die. Be good people.